How's it going, metalheads, and welcome back to another video. Yeah, I know this is a little bit of change of scenery from my normal background, but I'm up in the mountains this weekend, but I thought I'd get that Sunday video out to you guys. But anyway, today we're going to be going over 5 classic death metal bands that I think are very overlooked. So to start off, we're going to be talking about Sinister. Sinister formed in the Netherlands in 1988, and they've been one of Europe's most consistent death metal acts for years. They have 14 albums under their belt, and so the fact that I don't see them mentioned more often is crazy to me, because that's a lot of albums, especially for a death metal band. Their 1992 debut album, Cross the Styx, is one of my favorite death metal debuts ever, for sure. Definitely a great band and worth checking out if you don't know them. Like I said, I don't see them talked about a lot, especially in old school death metal circles, so they definitely deserve some more attention. I recommend the albums Cross the Styx, Diabolical Summoning, and Deformation of the Holy Realms as album to start with. Truly an underrated European death metal gem who's been around since the inception of death metal, so they definitely know what they're doing, for sure. But yeah, that's number one. Second band we're going to be talking about is Mortal Skuld. They were formed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1990, and they're one of the original Peaceville record bands, originally signing to the pre-Peaceville label Def Records. They would release 4 albums before breaking up in 1998, only to reform in 2012 to continue the death metal madness. With their 7th album, Creation Undone, having been released in 2024, they're a reminder that old school death metal can still thrive in today's day and age. I recommend the albums Dying Remains, As Humanity Fades, and Suffer for Nothing. They've been kind of lost to obscurity, most likely because of the 14-year absence there in the middle, but true fans remember and respect these death metal veterans from Wisconsin. The next band on the list is also from Wisconsin. The second Wisconsin band on the list is Jungle Rot. They formed in '92 in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and they've released 11 albums to date. This death metal machine has received some mixed reviews over the years due to the similarities between their albums and the prevalence of mid-tier death metal at one time. There was a lot of it. There was a saturation of it, and so they kind of got lost in that whole skew of death metal in the mid to late '90s, I feel like. But in my opinion, they're one of the true old school leaders, especially of bands that didn't quite break out, because they've been so consistent and, they didn't break up at all. They just kept going. So yeah, their recent releases remain as consistent as their early ones, for sure, if you haven't checked out the recent stuff. And if you're looking for solid old school American death metal, Jungle Rot's definitely for you. I recommend the albums Slaughter of the Weak, Kill on Command, and Terror Regime, which is one of their earlier ones and 2 of their most recent ones. More recent ones, I guess. I think their most recent one was 2022, and that one's still pretty solid as well. But anyway, the next band we're going to be talking about is from Norway. They're Blood Red Throne. Sorry, guys. It's kind of cold out here, so. They're arguably the flagship band of the often overlooked Norwegian death metal scene, but they have been sonically assaulting the ears of many since 1998. While they formed after the golden age of death metal, which many consider to be, the late 80s and early 90s, they risen to the top because of consistency and brutality. 12 albums in, the most recent of which, Siltskin, being released just last year, they show no signs of slowing down. One of my favorite all-time death metal bands, truly one that shouldn't be overlooked. I recommend the albums Brutalitarian Regime, Nonagon, and Siltskin. But yeah, Blood Red Throne is an interesting case because I feel like Norwegian death metal doesn't get talked about as much as Swedish death metal, Polish death metal, stuff like that. But Blood Red Throne are an awesome band. Definitely one that needs to be talked about more, for sure. And then the last band on my list is Vomitory, one of the most overlooked bands in the mighty Swedish death metal scene. They've been quietly creating a reputation as one of Sweden's most consistently brutal bands since 1989. While overshadowed by the more iconic names of their day, such as Dismember, Entombed, or Grave, Vomitory is no stranger to awesome, crushing death metal. With 9 albums down, the Swedish death metal unit is set to release their 10th album this year in 2026. Definitely some Swedish death metal looking into, especially if you're tired of listening to the bands I just mentioned, because if you're looking for something different, they're definitely for you. Might be time for some Vomitory. I recommend the albums Raped in Their Own Blood, Blood Rapture, and All Heads Are Gonna Roll. Also keep an eye out for their 10th album, like I said. It's called In Death Throes, and it's coming out on April 10th on Metal Blade. Should be an awesome one to look into. So yeah, those were a quick rundown of 5 overlooked death metal bands, I think, that don't get enough attention. So if you like the sound of any of those bands, for sure go check them out. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. Have a nice day. See ya.